Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
Francis Boyle, who wrote the U.S. Biological Weapons Treaty for the UN, top constitutional lawyer, went to school with the top globalists. He can tell you about him. He held the Kissinger position at, Harvard. But he's going to be coming on to talk about the incredible treason and the fascist state being set up. But Dr. Mayer Eisenstein, MD, JD, MPH, is a graduate of University of Illinois Medical School. You know, we're going to come back in a minute. Some stations don't carry this segment, and I'll fully introduce him. But what an amazing guy. He's been out there for decades exposing vaccines, and he treats a giant group of young people who aren't showing any signs of autism. He doesn't just have the control groups of the Amish who don't have autism. It's unknown. Might exist, like a leprechaun or something. And now he has his own giant clinics, and is very popular and can't find it. So, wow. Dr. Eisenstein, thank you for coming on with me, sir.
Oh, Alex, it's always a pleasure. And I tell you, one of the problems is the problems are so bad that you don't even sound that way out anymore. It's a real problem. I mean, I think we're going to have to start getting some different positions because, unfortunately, you're unmasking the truths and the people are listening.
Well, I mean, I wish I was wrong. I know the stuff I talk about sounds crazy, but isn't truth stranger than fiction? I mean, look at all the other crazy stuff that's happened in history.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You know, there's a great legal principle, but it's when a judge tells the jury when they're about to deliberate, false is uno, false is an omnibus. If you catch someone who's been a witness lying about one thing, you can make the assumption they're lying about something else, and you can disregard everything else they say. What you just pointed out just in the last few minutes, how they've lied about Dr. Rand Paul, they lied about strip searching older women, you know, and I had an interesting episode in a airport a couple of days ago where they said, you have to go through the scanner. I said, no, I'm not going through the scanner. I said, I'm an opt-out.
Hold on, Doc. I don't want you to be interrupted. We're going to come right back with Dr. Mayer Eisenstein. I'll properly introduce him and then start over right there with the, that legal precept that if somebody's a known liar, don't believe them. Duh. And the system lies even when the truth would suit them better. An amazing doctor, researcher, treated over 75,000 children, Dr. Mayer Eisenstein. He's also an author. We'll tell you about his book.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done has been right.
The Tennessean newspaper is reporting Nashville airport video doesn't show irate Senator Rand Paul. Why does the system lie when even the truth would suit them better? I mean, we have Dr. Mayer Eisenstein with us for about 40 minutes. Then we're going to get some financial news. I just twisted Weldon Henson's arm. Worked for us for 4 or 5 years, does a great job, local country music singer as well. But he was in the Air Force for a long time. And he said, yeah, what you're talking about, everything going to drones is true. All my buddies that are still in the Air Force that used to work on F-16s and stuff are now learning to fly the drones. And, of course, that's all simulated by computers and is getting ready as the computer learns to get rid of humans entirely. And that's in the L.A. Times today. What will the elite do when there's no military to say no to them to immoral things? Or where there's no footage that anybody sees of the war crimes? We're going to be discussing that at the very end of the hour. But again, Dr. Mayer Eisenstein, MD, JD, MPH, is a graduate of the University of Illinois Medical School, the Medical College of Wisconsin School of Public Health, and the John Marshall Law School. So he's also a lawyer. In his 39 years in medicine, he and his practice have cared for over 75,000 children, parents, and grandparents. He is the founder and medical director of Home First Health Services. That's huge. He is a board certified by the American Board of Public Health, Preventive Medicine, and the American Board of Quality Assurance and Utilization Review Physicians. He's a member of the Illinois Bar. His latest book, Making an Informed Vaccine Decision, goes along with his other books, Give Birth at Home, with the Home Birth Advantage, Safer Medicine, Don't Vaccinate Before You Educate, second edition, Unavoidably Dangerous Medical Hazards of HRT and Unlocking Nature's Pharmacy. Some of his many guest appearances include the Oprah Winfrey Show and Hannity and Combs, using the HC protocol since '09. He has lost over 100 pounds. And I noticed that when we got him up on the video Skype. In March of 2010, he started the Metabolic Syndrome and HCG Weight Loss Clinic based in the same protocol that he followed, the metabolic program. It's helped over 500 patients lose more than 7 tons in the first year. We got to have him back just on that front alone. But here's some of the articles we've got today. We've got him on about vaccines. Polio vaccines, now the first cause of polio paralysis worldwide. The vaccine's giving you the polio. Baby dies after 9 vaccines in 1 day. You've seen big companies just got in trouble for, 15 babies dying after being given a vaccine. All of this is going on, and he joins us because, they lie and say there's not mercury in vaccines. And we just got you on at the end of that first little segment. You were bringing up, as a lawyer, not just a medical doctor, this legal understanding or bedrock that if someone's been caught lying before, don't believe them again. So start back over, Doctor. Great to have you here with us.
Oh, it's awesome to be with you. And that's a principle. When the judge gives the instructions to the jury, he says to them, if any witness has lied to you during the testimony and it's been shown to be a lie, you can disregard, you have the right to disregard everything else. And I think what you pointed out over and over again, they lied about the mercury, they lied about the toxins, they lied about the effectiveness of vaccines. And Alex, I'm a very blessed man. I'll tell you why. I was a student of the late Dr. Robert Mendelsohn, and almost 50 years ago, he made the statement that no vaccine has ever been shown to eliminate any childhood disease. 30s and 40s, 37, 40s, 49 years ago. And maybe I have the dates wrong, so I've been very fortunate because that's the reason my 6 children and 10 grandchildren have never been involved with any of this type of stuff. Why I've been able to use Dr. Mendelsohn's principles to be able to implement not giving vaccines to many of our children. I went to law school for a very specific reason, to be able to help those families. And there's now millions of them. Your work has been awesome. Millions of children, of families who decided not to vaccinate, and I see one of my jobs is to help them in any way I can to legally avoid vaccines. And if it's illegal, heck, that may be the right way to do it too.
Well, just to be specific here, you are one of the major pioneers in exposing the dangers of vaccines for decades. So you're saying you woke up because of the top, famous doctor that you worked under. But now you've actually done the research. Explain to people what we see in the Amish, but also in the giant pool, or I guess they call it control group in a study, of your own patients. Where is the scourge of autism that's gone from 1 in 25,000 a few decades ago to 1 in 68 or so we're now seeing, and all these neurological disorders and other things? Where is that with your patients? Where is that with the Amish?
Virtually doesn't exist, and it's more than just autism, or like I like to call it, brain damage from vaccines. Because autism is a true illness, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 25,000, but it's not the same as what we're seeing today. We're seeing children who can't talk. 7-year-old doesn't talk, still makes their pants. We got tremendous amount of neurological damage, but also we virtually see no ADD, ADHD. We don't have, I think, a single case of peanut allergy in our practice. Is it all related to vaccines? Well, I'm sure a large part of it, And in spite of that, see, I think, unfortunately, the eugenics aspect is 100% right. When you start taking a look at people like Bill Gates, and what is his job with it? What does he know about vaccines? Nothing. He said he knows it kills people. He has outwardly said we have to get rid of most people in this world. I tell you what we have to focus on, Alex. How do we help people? How do we save people? How do we save people from being exposed to having to take vaccines? And it's not getting easy anymore because hospitals are firing nurses who refuse to get flu vaccine. Flu vaccine, of all the stupidity that there is around, if anyone is still skeptical that any of these things make any difference, I want to show a couple of slides that I brought here. The first one I want to show is it's got it's a red slide, but the 4th or 5th one, where it shows the the increase in mortality of children from flu over the last 10 years. If you take a look, there was almost no death from children until they start giving the flu vaccine to children.
And again,
So,
we're on XM and over 100 AM and FM stations, but we're showing a graph for the legal record here on the video that hundreds of thousands will watch today, millions overall. And we're showing a graph here. In fact, blow that up, guys, where the blue part is filling the screen. Thank you. You can see there that as soon as they start giving the vaccine, that's when the flu vaccine, that's when suddenly the deaths from flu explode. And we have the Canadian studies last year, as you know, doctor, or 2 years ago, that the H1N1 vaccine doubled your chances of getting the regular flu, lowered your immunity. We also know that they never get the vaccine correct to actually match what the flu is that year. It's a giant hoax. But tell us more about this graph that we have up on screen.
Well, this one, you take a look, you can see there's hardly any deaths on the left-hand part in the, and all of a sudden, as time goes on, all of a sudden they introduce the flu vaccine, it becomes mandated, all of a sudden the death rate starts skyrocketing, you know, and almost all the deaths in children from the H1N1 were children who were vaccinated with the H1N1.
Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's just frightening, you know. But if you need any for adults, if we go to the next slide, this one is even more frightening because it shows, this is the one that says influenza and pneumonia mortality rates and influenza vaccine coverage. And you take a look at the broken line is the percentage of people receiving the flu vaccine, and the brown line is people who die from flu and pneumonia. The reason pneumonia is because that's what actually kills you, not the flu itself. As the more people in the population get the flu vaccine, more people die from it.
It's incredible, but let's expand. We're going to show one more slide here in a moment. But now, doctor, now that people are waking up and saying no, California passed a law to shoot kids up without telling their parents. The classical fascism, medical tyranny. They're now running hoaxes everywhere. It's the law to take vaccines. I talked to one of my crew members whose wife is an RN, that people got sick when they were forced to take it. And one nurse, a young nurse, is in a wheelchair now, and they're not supposed to talk about it. And I talk to nurses everywhere. I mean, this is like something out of a science fiction movie.
That's right. You couldn't make this up. I mean, here's where the truth is stranger than fiction, more frightening. And let's look at one more slide, and that is the one on United States mortality rates, and that's for measles, scarlet fever, typhoid, whooping cough, diphtheria. And you see, it looks like something scribbled by a kindergarten child. But what you see is that all these diseases in the 1900s, you know, had relatively high mortality. And the mortality rates start dropping. But you take a look, the vaccines are introduced and nothing changes. Because look at scarlet fever, typhoid, no vaccines given for them, they disappear at the same rate. I ask one question of every doctor who still has any hope in vaccines that make any difference. Explain to me how tuberculosis disappeared. Explain to me how cholera, typhoid, Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Explain to me before you start talking about the ones that we give. Unbelievable.
It was sanitation, wasn't it, sir, and better nutrition?
Sanitation, and also diseases just have certain periods where they're there and then they just kind of die out by themselves, you know. And all we could do, and whooping cough is a great example. You introduce a vaccine that only works on the mild strains and the other strains are dying out. Now we're seeing whooping cough epidemics, but only really essentially in children who've been vaccinated. Those who have been vaccinated, for all practicality, have no problem.
Well, see, that's another big thing. I see the numbers even in the mainstream news, but it's buried. I want to come back and talk about this. The vaccines are actually making the children get what they're supposedly fighting. It's incredible.
Exactly, you know, and let me read you one more thing here. And this is an article that was in the medical journal called Vaccine. It's one of those...
Doc, we got a break. Get to that. We got a break. Okay. We'll come right back with that, and folks can find out more at homefirst.com. And you can find his books, everything at homefirst.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Dr. Eisenstein.